All right, let's talk about all the things that are going on in the world, Cody.
News update.
I mean, I don't know. This is a news update.
No, probably not a news update, but there is a lot going on in the world. Why don't you tell me what you've been reading?
I got my list of stuff, so
Okay.
let's talk about. I want to start this podcast with an apology to Mark, our producer. I think we owe him an apology.
Oh, do we?
You know what we owe him an apology for?
What do we owe him an apology
From last
for?
episode. We owe him an apology from last episode.
Okay.
Why do you think we should apologize to him from last episode? Being that I listened to the whole episode.
Is
Did
it
you listen to the
because
episode?
we made fun of him for him being a
cat kidnapper?
kidnapper? Yeah.
No, that's funny, and he is a cat kidnapper.
Yeah, we stand
And,
by that. As a podcast, we
I
officially
listened
stand
back
by
to
that.
the episode, and what I heard was one of the funniest things Mark's ever said, and he got no credit for it. We totally skipped over it.
Oh man,
So
what was it?
Mark, we owe you an apology. Last episode, we were talking about where you would go in time,
Yeah,
if you could go anywhere.
yeah.
And I was given like rules to this. And Mark asked if you could go back in time, like would he be the same class, like basically poor?
Yeah.
And so we kind of skipped over it because we were talking and making silly jokes about stuff. But Mark said, "Can I be a wizard?" And it is really funny. Like, or a rogue, which is Dungeons and Dragons classes.
Can I
And
be a
that's
wizard?
super funny.
And you didn't even get credit for it,
And
Mark.
you did not get credit for how funny that was.
Which I feel like Mark needs to know this. Mark, you said increasingly more funny things.
Yeah, you've got.
And I have to say, I think it's because you're consuming more
media.
pop culture.
Yeah.
And you've actually started watching some of the greatest movies of all time.
So from the deepest of the dredges of my heart, Mark, I make a formal apology to you. That was actually really funny. And when I listened to the podcast back, I was like, that was actually funny. And we blew it because that was a funny joke.
Thank you.
And so welcome to the show, producer Mark.
I felt clever.
And welcome to the rest of you. Here's the show. All right. So, So we are apologizing, Mark. So we're good.
Yep.
All right. Let's talk about something else that's near and dear to Cody's heart. How bad the Browns are right now.
Do we seriously have to do
Let's
this on
talk
this
about.
podcast?
We got to talk about Nick
listen,
Chubb.
I just need to tell you, we have volleyball on Monday nights. I watched the Browns-Steelers game, and it just was
Every year-
It was heartbreak after heartbreak.
Every year you
after
get
heartbreak
excited
after
about the
heartbreak.
Browns, and I don't think you know that the Browns are cursed. They are the only cursed team in the league.
Yeah.
Eventually, one day, maybe the curse will lift, like
Listen,
Boston
here's
Red Sox.
my problem. This is how bad this is. We trounced on your Bengals. Just trounced on
Yeah, the
them.
Bengals don't care the first two games.
You
look like
you can
4 out of 5 years.
typical Bengals
0-2.
fan. Typical
hey,
Bengals. We don't even care about the
hey,
first two games.
they
Your
don't.
first two games are both divisional games.
because they can win every game. They don't really care.
Oh my goodness. So
hey, we've been to the Super Bowl.
yeah, you say that you guys might even
we've
play
been to the
make the
championship
playoffs.
game. Like
Whatever.
You know, it is what it is.
Listen,
our quarterback.
we
was
trounced you guys, and then we came out and we could have started 2-0 in the division.
Could have.
And first play out of the gate, interception, run back for a pick
Yeah, the
six.
quarterback's terrible.
Terrible. And then to make matters worse, we start getting some momentum on offense, and what happens is they turn Nick Chubb's knee into a door hinge. Like, it was terrible.
Door hinge is a good way to say it.
And it's just brutal
If you don't
to
know,
watch.
you didn't watch the Browns game. Nick Chubb, who's
It was brutal.
been like the best thing that the Browns have had the last couple seasons. This running back.
He's arguably the best running back in the league.
I mean, I think right now he's more of like a doorstop. But
Yeah,
that's probably
too soon.
Oh, that's too soon.
Oh, that's way too soon.
You said door hinge and made me think of it. All right, so Nick Chubb, he's actually a great running back. He played for the University of Georgia, but he did the exact same thing at Georgia in 2015. I watched his knee get blown out live in that game. He had the same exact problem. His knee turned into an L sideways, just like he did. I think he has proclivity to knee issues. The problem is he has been great.
He was
healthy. Great at Georgia. He was great.
He's been healthy
when he's
almost
healthy.
his entire NFL.
So I have a feeling he's
career.
probably done.
I don't know.
He's probably done.
The report said that he didn't actually tear his MCL.
Yeah, but the
or
doctors in
ACL.
the NFL are going to be like, you've already done this twice now. You're
they're
not
gonna
going to
tell
walk
him
if you don't.
And not to mention, there's all that. There's all
He's
this
rich.
with the NFLPA and
he's
running
rich.
backs not getting paid enough. Like, he's already. But here's the thing: is
running backs already have a
Saquon
short
Barkley did the
lifespan
same
in the
thing.
NFL.
Saquon Barkley did the same thing. Well, now he's got an ankle sprain and he's out for 3 games. It's like the running back position, dude. They just get beat up. their life expectancy in the NFL is so much shorter.
It's sad
than every
because
other
without Nick
position.
Chubb, they really have nothing because their quarterback is terrible.
No.
What's his name? Benjamin? No, it's not Benjamin Watson.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson. Benjamin Watson's the good one. Deshaun Watson's the overpriced.
Yeah, he's bad.
He could be. You know what he could be? I'm looking at that tree in the corner. We got a ficus tree in the corner. I think he could be a ficus tree.
He could,
because as well as he plays, they could just put a ficus tree there, snap the ball to him, probably be the same.
Yeah, it's just bad. I know they were talking. So our other running back, we used to have a running back duo, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. They met with Kareem Hunt yesterday because he's still in free agency. So that would be great. So if we could pick up Kareem Hunt, that would be excellent.
They didn't pick up anybody at this point, and they probably need to pick up another quarterback.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
$250 million they gave
30.
Deshaun Watson.
$230
million.
The most
to be a ficus
it's guaranteed. It's the most guaranteed money in any NFL contract.
That's stupid. That was the worst contract. The Browns make the worst decisions I've ever seen. I don't know. Andrew Berry has made some really. You can't base every decision. They have really picked up excellent talent. Our defense is amazing. Our defense is. We'll revisit this in a few weeks when the Browns are 1-6.
Yeah,
and you'll be like, I was so happy about this year until after the first game.
It's just like it's so. I feel bad.
I want them to win.
I'm in an abusive relationship with the Browns, and I can't shake it.
Yeah, because I feel like you need to go to professional. Counseling.
I do. I probably actually do.
I feel like I should move to Cleveland, just become a counselor for Browns fans.
It's just
I probably could make a full-time wage at that. Yeah. That'd be my official title, Browns counselor.
Yeah. Oh man.
And the whole goal would be to turn them into Bengals fans.
No.
At least they have some hope.
That's gross. That's just gross.
At least they have some hope. But
yeah.
Or
my second favorite team.
Or Steelers fans.
See, here's the problem. I didn't even have redemption from my second favorite team, which is the Detroit Lions, which means I like misery, apparently. I just like being abused.
I like the Lions,
my favorite
too.
sports
my second
team.
favorite is Lions.
Yes, because we live here.
Yeah, so
and I love that. I hope they have a good season this year. They looked really good the first game. They even looked decent the second game. But they just lost to the Seahawks. I think they have a chance.
See, I had the great years of I'm a Tom Brady fan just because I played with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And so when Tom Brady was winning, at least I felt like even though the Bengals were terrible for a long time, well, Tom was winning, so it was cool. But now he's retired, so I got nothing. So hopefully we'll figure it out. But that's what's going on in the Browns land. So if you've watched the Browns games, I'm sorry. They're sorry. The NFL's sorry. And
those jerseys did look sweet, though. Those jerseys did look sweet, though. The all whites looked really sweet.
Yeah,
sweet.
well, it kind of blended into the stretcher.
Too soon again.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Oh, well, we might gonna have to edit this stuff.
No, that's definitely. Yeah, that's. Yeah. Oh, man.
I feel bad for Nick Chubb.
I do too.
Someone who played college football, I feel.
Not to mention, it couldn't have happened to a worse guy. Humble player.
Yeah, he's a
great locker room guy. There's not a single person in the league that doesn't like him. It's just, yeah.
Well, speaking of, let's say in the NFL. All right, Aaron Rodgers. We know he got hurt. We had some funny jokes. Just got double checked that out of the last episode, but news came out this week. If he never plays again, he has $75 million guaranteed dollars from the Jets for his 2-year contract. That's insane.
Is honestly,
I mean, kind of like if I'm Aaron Rodgers, you want to get back in the field because you want to prove the naysayers wrong. But you got $75 million. Does it really matter?
I'm sorry. Here's my problem. If I had $75 million guaranteed,
he may become the Ryan Leaf of professional football.
I wouldn't work another day in my life.
Yeah,
I don't understand where these guys get the motivation.
If you had $75, you probably wouldn't work.
I'm rich. like I just don't understand.
Bethany, I'm like, Bethany, I quit.
If you had all that money, I would do whatever I wanted, whenever I wanted. I would work on whatever projects I wanted.
Like a lot of
I just don't. But I just don't. I don't understand the guaranteed money thing because what's the motivation? You already secured the money. They secured the bag. I feel like it has to be contingent.
I feel like there's a reason. All the things you just said is the reason why you don't have $75 million. Because you would do bad things with it. Whatever you wanted is not necessarily a good thing. If I had $75 million,
I just want you to know this man created the culture of honor.
I would give to the poor.
Second tenet is assume the best, and the first thing he says to me is that I would do bad
give
stuff
to the poor.
I don't think that sounds like. Hey, producer Mark, does that sound like assuming the
I
best
would start
to you?
An orphanage in Africa. And in Haiti.
Maybe that's what I want.
No, maybe.
Doing whatever
Producer
I want
Mark,
would be things that are humanitarian and wonderful. Why would you even say that?
I know that people blow that much money really easily.
Yeah.
It's amazing how quickly.
That's what it sounded like, didn't it?
Well, what we're saying,
like $75 million would be burnt like that.
I thought I had a lot of money. Where did it all go?
Cody's that guy. He's like, I got $75 million. Let's go to the casino. It's gone. So,
Yeah.
no, I would do good things with that money. But I would be done playing football. I would retire. I wouldn't care what they say on social media.
Yeah.
But he is basically going, if he retires, he's the Ryan Leaf of professional football. Yeah.
I still can't believe you just jumped to, like, I would just blow it on all.
I mean, that's kind of what he said, isn't it?
I said I would do whatever I want.
Producer Mark?
You just basically jumped to, which makes me
You
think.
said I would do whatever I
you
want,
would want to
whenever
do.
I want, however I want.
I think you're projecting.
There's a lot of interpretation that could be.
Yeah. You just assume the worst.
I think he was very
Pastor.
aggressive. You were very aggressive.
I would do whatever I want, and maybe
money.
and what that would be, I'm not going to tell you now.
I would do whatever I should do with that
I don't trust you to share that information now. Yeah.
I get a list of
What a terrible assumption. I'm looking at camera right now.
Yeah.
I want you to know this podcast. I would have taken that money and I would have solved world hunger because I've heard you can do it. Okay, and that's on you. You take that, use it however you want.
I feel like you got a giant shovel and you're digging the hole deeper. I feel like our listeners are gonna be like, "Nah, he's not really serious. He's just trying to get in this hole."
I'm done.
Let me tell you, segment number 2. What would I do with $75 million? I would build an orphanage. I probably would build an orphanage for real. Like that's a for real thing.
Yeah. I've always wanted to be. Truth be told, I've always wanted a youth center. I've always wanted to have like a community youth center that's just a safe place for kids to come and free food. So, like, if I had unlimited money, I'd just make sure that we had free food all the time for anybody in the community. I've always loved the idea of doing stuff like that because I think that would be a great way to use it.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mark would do an animal shelter for cats.
Mark would make a cat kingdom, just a palace full of cats. He would just adopt all the cats in the area.
He would call it Mark's Meowless.
Yeah.
I don't know. Let's move on.
The Meowchin.
The Meowchin. Yeah. All right, let's talk about how turf causes cancer.
Oh, my gosh. What a segue.
Yeah,
okay, so.
Speaking of kittens, turf causes cancer. So
okay, all right. Tell me more about this.
This is a real thing. In the news.
Oh, by the way, do I have to redact? Last week I said that it's very expensive to do turf. It is not as expensive as I said. Kyle was right. I was wrong.
Yeah.
Just so it's noted on the podcast.
We did an episode of RADA, which means I sent all the errors in your dollars and cents to Cody. I also sent in the time period details for when the Vikings actually invaded. So we got that right. The Vikings did invade in 860 to 920, not the 1100s. And it cost about $700,000 to $1.2 million for a football field. So, those things. So, yeah. Ragnar Lothbrok might have been real, but none of the stories that we know about him are actually real. They're just all made up. But
oh, yeah.
He might have been a real character.
Which, I mean, honestly, is a lot of the more obscure characters of history. There's not.
So it says you got one right, 2 wrong. So basically, let's like the Browns' first 3 games of the season. All right, so cool.
We've only had 2.
1 and 2. So, I'm all right. Turf causes cancer, though.
Wow.
I hope it doesn't. I mean, Browns play on turf, so I hope it doesn't cause cancer for those guys. But in Europe right now, goalies are getting cancer at extremely high rates. Professional goalies, professional soccer goalies are getting cancer at extremely high rates, and they're like under 30. And they're attributing it to turf. The turf is causing them cancer because goalies are continually jumping into the turf to stop balls. And that means they're splashing rubber. They think it's stuff in the rubber is actually getting on them, in them. They're breathing it in, they're swallowing it, and it's causing them cancer. And so they have a very extremely high rate of there's whole thing we talked about in the last episode about turf. And this pushback to turf because, some could say that Nick Chubb's injury might be because his foot got stuck in the turf. Maybe.
It was real ground.
It was real ground, so no, okay. That's still called turf, though.
Yeah. 0-1 for you today.
Yeah. I don't know. I said some could say. I didn't say I said.
Just like the Bengals AFC North.
But that's why they think Aaron Rodgers, they're blaming the turf as the reason why his Achilles got ruptured. May or may not be. But there's a lot of turf issues right now.
Can we just talk about the fact that he's also an old man?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Could be.
Yeah, it could have been the turf. I will give you that.
Yeah.
I do think that there are more injuries on turf.
But Lionel Messi does not want to play on turf.
No, I get it.
It's in his contract. He doesn't have to if he doesn't want to with Inter Miami on the MLS soccer team. So this is a real deal. Like, what do you think? Do you think we're going to find out in like 10 years that all these high school athletes, college athletes are going to start getting cancer?
I don't know. I played on turf for 4 years in high school, so I hope not. I mean, there's a lot of high schools. There's a lot of high schools that have shifted to turf because it is less maintenance and it's easier to maintain, and it negates some of your more weather hazardous games, like when you talk about,
you can actually play when
you can play when it's in rain and you're not slipping around all over the place, as long as it's not like soupy.
Yeah,
but like, so it's hard because there's a lot of benefits. I think just like anything, if they have a period of time where they figure out, it's like when AstroTurf came out, everybody thought it was the best thing, and remember how many people got just terribly injured on AstroTurf. So I think it's just like anything else. I think it's going to have its day, where people go, yeah, we probably should get away from this and go back to natural ground, or we should do something different. I think they'll probably invent something different, because when it comes down to profit, people are always going to look to make profit. And I'm sorry,
lawsuits will happen, but it's a big deal. The European Union's, it's probably going to end up with, they're not going to have turf.
It would make a lot of sense. So my dad worked for a company called Abbott and then Hospira for a long time, and they work on rubber manufacturing. So they do all the medical rubber manufacturing, and guys that worked the rubber lathes and making the materials. He said a lot of those people now are coming back and they're finding that they have cancer.
Oh yeah, because of rubber.
And so he said there's like, if he looks at the guys that he worked with coming up, he's very fortunate. My dad's never had cancer, but he said many of the people that he worked with had cancer, have died of cancer, and there's actually a very small. He said there's only less than a dozen people out of almost 100 people that he worked with that are still alive, and there's a good portion of them that died of cancer. And he said they now know, because they have all these procedures now to basically to keep them from inhaling all the fumes from the rubber.
I think that's the problem. I think these guys have just inhaled way too much rubber, and if you inhale too much rubber, it's got to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it does. Like, I just don't look at a car tire and be like, that's probably delicious and safe to eat.
My dad would literally come. I remember this. My dad would come home with like headaches every day. He would just have headaches every day. And he would just tell me, like, rubber. This is just what you do. And it's like, but that's like everybody that worked at that factory. So, I mean, that's a personal experience. It's not necessarily based in any kind of fact or data, but like, I don't know. I mean, it would make sense to me. It would make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, I don't know what they're going to find out, if they're going to make the connection, but it sounds like the European Union is investigating all these weird cancer for these soccer players or professional footballers in Europe. And so I have a feeling it's going to make changes, but those changes don't usually come quickly. So we'll see how that goes. But that's been big news last couple weeks. If you follow like international soccer, I do sort of, because I follow sports. But
well, that's a good segue into the next thing. There's something cool I want to talk to you about. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. Have you heard of the hashtag shower thoughts? Shower thoughts is basically the idea that when you're in the shower, like you just, that's where you relax. That's where you kind of
think about cancer and turf in the shower.
No, but you think of all these crazy things. Like, and I thought about it. I'm like, yeah, like that's a time where like I'm just relaxing after a long day, and I have all these crazy thoughts in my head, and I'm like, okay, so shower thoughts is a hashtag that's been trending for a while, and there's all these people that have come up with all these different shower thoughts of like, hey, why don't we do this, or what about this, or like asking really, really deep intuitive questions. And there's some really funny ones and there's some really good ones. Right. And so I went through and I was like, okay, what are some of the best ones I've thought? And so I picked out some of my best shower thoughts. So I'm going to ask you some questions and see how you react to them and see what you think. Okay. So first of all, shower thought about being naive. Okay. As a kid, my parents had to teach me not to believe everything I saw on TV. Now I have to teach my parents not to believe everything they see on Facebook.
Yeah, I agree.
Role reversal.
It is a role reversal. Yeah. But you're going to probably change those parents' diaper one day and they change yours. So
that's true. Yeah.
It's definitely a role reversal.
Yeah, it's a circle of life.
I mean, I don't think that's a deep shower thought. I think it's just a fact.
Okay. All right. Here's another one. All right. How about the Olympics? The Olympics should have a for fun section at the end of all the games so all the athletes can try different sports.
No, that just sounds like a waste of time.
I think that sounds awesome. You don't think so?
No, I think that sounds like an absolute waste of time. Why do you need a for fun section? I don't want to watch anybody play a sport they're not good at.
I don't know. I think it'd be fun to watch Usain Bolt try to swim and try to see Michael Phelps.
I have a feeling
100-meter
Usain Bolt
dash.
could do anything quickly.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, you really get to see how athletic Olympic athletes are.
Can we talk about something important when you say Usain Bolt?
Yeah.
One of my greatest frustrations is that he never made it in professional soccer. Because watching him fly down the sidelines,
Or
it would have been awesome.
I mean, here's the deal.
Chad Johnson, same
Here's the
thing
problem.
for the Bengals. He tried to play soccer.
Here's the problem. I'm just going to be honest with you.
These guys are elite level athletes.
Okay.
Usain Bolt runs a 9.6 100. The fact that he could be a right winger,
Yes.
fly down or let's say a left winger because he's right footed.
How do you know what his politics are?
I don't know what the politics are in Jamaica. So,
Wow.
why pre my Jamaican friends? So the fact of seeing a guy run a 9.6 down the sidelines.
Yes.
And have a ball kicked over
Okay.
the defense.
Yeah.
And just be one-on-one all the time.
I know. But this argument always happens. And as a former sprinter, I can tell you, just because you're fast, it does not translate to coordination or ability in any way. And the truth is, he can run really, really fast in a straight line. You don't know what he's going to do when he's got to dribble a soccer ball. You don't know what he's got if he's trying to catch a football or he's doing anything else.
Yeah.
Like, there is a reason those guys are in track.
So you're saying on this podcast that Usain Bolt is uncoordinated.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that track, the measurements of excellence in track, don't always translate into the other athletic world.
I'm just picturing uncoordinated Usain Bolt.
Wouldn't it be funny though? Like a little bit.
Extremely uncoordinated.
Yeah. Like
Hey, Usain, catch. Oops.
He just gets lobbed one and he
Wow.
just goes, like he just can't.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm disappointed. Like that would have been amazing. Truthfully, to watch Usain Bolt play professional soccer would have been amazing. So I'm kind of disappointed it didn't happen. But
Yeah.
neither here nor there. What are your other shower thoughts? That you have?
Your bed is just a shelf for your body when you're not using it. Does that make you uncomfortable?
No, not really. Are these yours, or are these just random people you're finding?
These are the top 100. I picked out some that I thought were appropriate.
Yeah, I don't know that to me doesn't seem like a really deep thought.
Yeah. How about this? You ready? Aliens invaded the moon on July 20th, 1969. That's a true statement.
That's true.
That is a true
I
statement.
actually like that. That one's a good one. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Yeah. When you say forward or back, your lips move in those directions.
Forward, back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that. That was a good one.
Yeah, right.
Who thinks
How
about
about
that in the
this?
show, though?
Huh?
Who thinks about that in the shower?
You
like a linguist?
That's why they're called shower thoughts.
Are you like a linguist?
I don't know, dude. It's just a crazy thing.
Is that like a linguist style shower thoughts?
Yeah. How about this? Ready? I've woken up over 10,000 times and I'm still not used to it.
See, I'm a morning person. I'm like an all day person, so that doesn't really affect me. I get that for non-morning people. That'd be actually probably a deep thought. But
how about this? When a company offers me a better price after I cancel their subscription, they're just admitting that they were overcharging me.
I hate that one. I sometimes I just like, should I just cancel this right away and see if they offer me a better price to stay? That happened. I just canceled something the other day and they offered me huge discount to stay. I'm like, nah, I'm mad now.
Yeah.
So,
okay, so this one's about your dream job and contentment. I really like this one. Okay. Somewhere in the world, there's somebody with your dream job that hates going to work every day. I mean, it really is. It's true though. You think about it. Like we think.
What's your dream job though?
I think I have my dream job.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think I'm doing what that comes down to contentment though. I do think it's a deeper
it kind of
conversation.
sound like earlier in the podcast, your dream job is to have say $5 million and to do whatever you want all the time.
Well, that
sounds like
that's all we got for today, folks.
I feels like your dream job is Aaron Rodgers.
He's not going to let it go.
No, he's not. No, I do think though it speaks to contentment. I do think there are a lot of people who are malcontented with what they're doing right now, and I think it's because we've hyped up the idea that your fulfillment and your contentment come from what you do instead of what you choose to do well, right? So
yeah, no, I agree with that. I like what I do. So,
How about this? This is about the consumerism of Christmas. Christmas feels more like a deadline than a holiday.
yeah, I mean, I kind of hate Christmas because of all the extra trappings of Christmas. I wish it was just Christmas.
Yeah.
And just focusing on the celebration of what it is of Christ and then family. And now it's become so commercialized. I do kind of dread Christmas every year.
Yeah.
Because of the commercialization and all the requirements of Christmas.
So, how about this? Do not touch or poisonous substance would probably be the most unsettling thing to read in Braille.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
I mean, I think that's... Can you imagine? Ah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I do think that'd be hard to read.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking, okay, so Rome is a really popular topic right now because men think about the Romans, right? We talked about this in our last podcast, right? We talk about ancient. This is actually really cool. We
didn't actually talk about that. We talked about Rome, but
yeah,
the thing that we actually
we started the trend
last night.
We started the trend.
We were just talking
last night. We were talking about this. I shared we were watching Ahsoka, which we'll get to.
No,
we're
not
talking.
going to. I can't listen.
If you can't, I'm sorry.
Haven't watched it
the
yet.
Spoilers are on. We talk about the episode. Like, if you are not a Star Wars fan, that's not our problem. We are Star Wars fans.
We have to say spoiler alert, though.
No. If you didn't watch it, that's on you. Last night, after Ahsoka, I shared with everybody. Or maybe it was before.
It was before.
Doesn't matter. It has nothing to do with Ahsoka. I shared with our room of people, my family and Mark, that ultimately this TikTok trend is ask your boyfriend or your husband about how often he thinks about Rome.
Yeah.
How often so I'm going to ask you, how often do you think about Rome?
More in the last week because I've seen all those TikToks.
Yeah.
I don't actually think of ancient Rome that much. But here's the deal. If we get technical, I do. Unknowingly. Because Rome has had such a massive impact.
This is like knowingly thinking about Rome.
No, not knowingly thinking about it. No, not really.
I think about
in the
it all
aspect
time.
of in the aspect of reading the Bible and knowing that Jesus was interacting with Romans all the time. Yes, I would say probably once a day. Then
I think about Rome,
not necessarily for Rome.
I think about Rome when I'm on the toilet, when I'm
ancient Rome specifically.
Ancient Rome, yeah.
Ancient Rome, yeah.
Because Rome is around now too. It's a different Rome though.
Yeah,
yeah. No. I think about Rome all the time. The Roman Empire, some way or another. I think about it maybe a daily.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I can't probably say every day, but like regularly.
Not intentionally about the Roman Empire.
We actually thought last night that you would think about some other topic more.
Vikings?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
How often do you think about Vikings?
7 days in a week, so at least 6 times a week.
Yeah. Okay. So,
yeah. Probably. Truthfully.
So that probably says something about you.
It does.
Mentally.
I don't know. I mean,
what
it does. I am who I am, and that's all that I am.
I'll search the interwebs for next episode. We're going to find out what the difference is. Because it sounds like to be a man is to think of the Roman Empire. That's like basically all men think about the Roman Empire.
Yeah.
So I saw a TikTok this morning coming here. And right before I left. And a lady said, okay, what's the opposite of all men think about Roman Empire for women? And so another lady responded to that. She stitched it, and she said, murder. Oh! I'm going to ask my wife that later. What do you think about if it's not the Roman Empire? I hope it's not murder. Yes, I don't know. We're going to find out. I don't know. But I think a lot about the Roman Empire all the time. So that's why I've been to Italy twice.
Here's the deal. This is the shower thought, okay? Shower thought about ancient civilization is we talk about ancient Romans like they were basically all the same, but the civilization lasted almost 1,000 years.
Yeah.
That's like saying people in 2016 and people in 1016 are basically the same. It is true, though.
Yeah.
And the technological advancements that they made for the time are comparable to some of the technological advancements that we've had.
I would agree.
The things that they did advanced society in culture.
Well, the early
so
Roman
much.
Empire wasn't that advanced, actually. It was just...
No, but if you look at what they did and how they expanded it, I
think about
it's similar. It's not the exact same because technology has put us into hyperspace speeds as far as getting us to the next level of technology. But it is similar in the fact that what it did for society and how it impacted culture was significant.
Right.
So, and they were talking about it. They're talking about another podcast. We don't often understand how much they advanced and how advanced that society actually was, because we think they weren't, but they actually were.
They were extremely advanced.
Yeah.
So another thing, let's go talk about it.
Yeah,
Since we talked about Ahsoka, let's talk about Ahsoka. I want to talk about Ahsoka. All right. Did you not watch it?
No, I haven't yet.
I'm not a fan. He's not a fan. Like I can't even go there right now. I'm like so disappointed in you at the moment. How do you not watch Ahsoka? It's so good.
I know it's good. I don't disagree. I came home and my wife and I went to bed because I was tired. Okay. I'm an old man now and I wasn't feeling good. Wow. My kids weren't feeling good yesterday. So just cut me some slack. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, you could have got up an hour early.
I also am the person last week that said, I've liked all the Star Wars series and you
I liked
trashed on Boba Fett.
I liked them all, but I'm definitely going to make fun of Boba Fett.
And shout out to the guy who gave us the comment and was like, yeah, basically whoever you are, I don't remember your username, but thank you. Because I'm in agreement with you.
Thank you, Comic Guy. That the Comic Guy is our friend now. Daniel, I think his name was.
Yeah, my friend. Not yours.
Yeah. Listen, I can't forgive the Power Rangers. Like, when you bring Captain Planet.
Listen, I love the Power Rangers, so I don't care.
You know what?
Bring it.
Here's my thought. Just don't bring that person who directed that episode and brought them into the show back.
Do you know who actually has been one of the better directors? Bryce Dallas Howard has actually been one of the better directors.
You know who's not been good for Star Wars?
George Lucas.
Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
Actually, Kathleen Kennedy has been good. I'm really frustrated about Solo.
Yeah.
That Kathleen Kennedy like poo-pooed on Solo. So
why? Solo was good.
Such a good movie. She's done some good things by basically letting Dave Filoni, but I think they should can her and put Dave Filoni in charge. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Kathleen. Your time is
I'm not.
Yeah.
You gone.
Yeah. Sometimes the apprentice must eliminate the master.
Yeah.
To be the master.
Yeah.
Dave.
Oh, wait a second. Are they Sith? Dave, are you a Sith?
Dave Filoni might be a Sith. I don't know. Whatever he is, he makes good TV.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell me what you think happened last night then?
Well, where we left off, we left off with
Ahsoka was in the mouth of a space whale.
Purgles.
Yeah.
I have a feeling they're traveling to a different galaxy. I think they're opening up.
Well, we know that.
Yes, yeah. but I don't even want to. I don't even want to presuppose.
Tell me what you think.
Because here's the problem.
Obviously, they went to another galaxy.
Is it episode 6?
Yeah.
And they're having 9, right? Or are they having 8? Okay.
2 left.
So there's 2 left. So there's a lot of story left.
What do you think were the big things that happened? I won't tell you, but I want to know what you think has happened. What did they see? What did they come across on the other end?
I mean, are they going to find more Force sensitive people?
I'm not going to answer that. What do you think they found?
I mean, I'm not asking for you to answer.
The big things. Do you think they found Thrawn? Do they think they found?
I don't think they found Thrawn yet.
Do you think they found Ezra? Those are the 2 people they were going to look for.
I think Ezra and Thrawn. I think it's too soon. If I were building this story, it'd be too soon to find Ezra, or they find Ezra and something is wrong with Ezra, and they are going to spend time sorting it out.
Okay, let me just say this. I'm going to add the number up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay, they found maybe 7 different things. Okay.
Do those 7 things carry the lightsabers?
No. They found like 7 different things. I don't want to say what the things are.
Are they holocrons?
Those things were all living. There's a lot more than that, but I'm grouping them as groups of things.
Okay.
I'll say that of all the things that they found, there's one that made me more excited than anything else.
Oh.
And it's essentially they took Japanese culture and threw it into Star Wars more than it's ever been before. And it's insane. It's like the Romans and Japanese blended together and made the coolest thing I think I've seen in Star Wars in this long time. And it's not what you were thinking they were going to find. I mean, they may or may not have found it. But there's something else unexpected that's insane.
Here's my question.
About, Mark?
I don't know what I don't know what exactly you're referring to. No, I have an idea, but
Mark, let me just,
Jamie, pull that up.
let me just tell you a Japanese word. Here we go.
I don't know any Japanese words.
I really want to see it.
It's kintsugi. Kintsugi.
Huh?
Kintsugi.
He's not going to know.
Japanese art of repairing broken pottery with gold.
Oh,
Coolest thing, wasn't it?
Coolest thing.
There were so many cool things, but there was one unexpectedly cool thing that was cooler than all the expected cool things.
That was epic. That was incredible.
There's a moment when you just like, that's awesome. I think I even said that out loud.
Okay, you're going to know why I'm asking
That whole
this.
section, awesome.
Was it cool in like Return of the Jedi kind of cool, or was it cool Empire Strikes Back cool?
It's cool in like episode 7 cool.
Oh.
Isn't it? Force Awakens.
Okay.
Because the Force Awakens introduced a whole bunch of new cool things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
It's cool though. And episode 7 is literally one of my favorites, even though I know it's a rehashing. I don't really care. I know there's plot holes. I don't care. It's still there's so many cool things were introduced in episode 7.
Listen, yeah.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I do
it's just
believe,
like one, like that's cool, and then there's another that's cool.
I have a Star Wars.
I
have a Star Wars prediction to make.
It's slow. I'm going to tell you, it's a slow episode.
I have a Star Wars
prediction.
There's so much
cool in it.
I have a Star Wars prediction to make. You ready?
What?
When I was growing up, the prequels, everybody trashed them. They said they were terrible.
Yeah,
they trashed them. I love them.
Yeah, I liked them.
Okay, I think that in 10 years from now, 15 years from now, our kids and our kids are going to talk about the sequels like people talked about the prequels. I do think.
Here's the thing.
Because
there's things of love and hate in all of Star Wars.
Because here's the problem. I do believe this, and you will agree with this statement. Nostalgia kills future creativity.
Okay, so
it does.
Let me say this. Tell me what is great about. Okay, we know what's great about Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, the original trilogy.
Yeah.
Tell me what's bad about it. Tell me what's like,
stale dialogue.
Okay,
dialogue?
4, 5, and 6. 4, 5. Are you talking
Mark,
about the
I will
movies?
come over there.
Oh yeah,
there is no stale dialogue.
Throttle
in
you
4,
right
5,
now.
and 6.
You take it back right now. You take it back right now. You catnapper.
I've seen interviews where Mark Hamill literally talked about like he hated the dialogue that he had for the show.
You
because they had to make him like this pure vapor farmer, like this innocent young boy.
You take it back. You will do it. You'll do it on this podcast right now. You take it back.
I love you.
You say you're sorry.
I've got a discount.
You say you're sorry for the. You say you're sorry to the friends.
Out of here, Aaron.
You say you're sorry to the fans.
Tell me what's bad.
Sorry.
Tell me what's bad.
That George Lucas didn't have any idea what he was going to do.
I'm not talking about when they redid it.
Yeah,
because
that's
George Lucas kept touching it and messing it up.
What was bad? Ewoks.
No. Ewoks were great.
They were saved because of the Ewoks, the holiday specials. But the Ewoks,
I still watch the Ewoks like they're so real.
Yes. No, I'm not saying the animation. I'm saying the fact that they added them.
There's real.
Okay, you're telling me.
There, but
okay,
it's still
here's my problem. Okay, here's my problem, and I don't have a lot of problems.
Tell me what's bad, though.
You know this. I'm not a critic.
Tell me what's bad, though.
I'm not a critic. But here's the problem. You had an army
can't even say
of fuzzy teddy bears
doesn't matter.
taking on one of the most heinous. Villainous forces in the galaxy, and they came to their planet, the moon, and they came to their planet, and the teddy bears beat
those
biggest
chubby ninja bears are amazing. And here's the thing: I've worn a stormtrooper outfit before. I'm just gonna be honest with you.
It's hard to see out of.
Tight. You can't see down out of the helmet.
You can't. I get it.
So of course
their aim's terrible because the design is terrible.
Once you had a stormtrooper helmet on, you realize they can't see down.
Yeah, that's true.
So like they were at a disadvantage against Ewoks.
Ours is also made out of PVC.
But tell me what's bad. Tell me what's bad in the episodes. Give me anything that's bad. Like, they shouldn't have done that.
I don't really have much.
Now tell me from 1, 2, and 3 what's bad.
See, here's the
Jar Jar
problem.
Binks is not great. I like Jar Jar. But
I like Jar Jar.
Jar Jar has not aged well when you go look at the imagery of it. Star Wars 4, 5, and 6 have aged well. Jar Jar has not aged well. Jar Jar was not a great character. There were some moments that just weren't that great. How about Anakin's?
Yeah.
What's the guy that is enslaving Anakin? The guy, flying guy.
Oh, I know.
Watto.
Watto's terrible. He's terrible.
Yeah, but you had to introduce different.
The Gorgons, whatever. What are the Gorgons?
Yeah, the Jar Jar's race.
No, the other race, the big ones. That they just spit all the time.
That's his race.
Okay, yeah, they're just terrible.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't age well. I'm sorry, it just didn't.
No, but
now there were some great things from it. I love the droids.
The droids were amazing.
Although the droids were kind of annoying for some people, I love Roger.
Yeah.
Like I love it.
The droids were fantastic.
Yeah, but like I love Darth Maul. There's so many good things that 1, 2, and 3 brought us.
I
bad.
like the trade blockade. The trade blockade was
there's bad.
But the whole Trade Federation was a good concept, and it was a good false front for the actual bigger evil that was taking place.
But
I thought that was great.
Plenty of bad across it where you're like, I just wish. It's kind of like.
But
listen,
in the second one when they touch down and the clones come out and they're fighting in the middle of the arena and all the Jedis are fighting the clone like the droids. That was one of the coolest stinking scenes.
Yeah, that's cool. There's a lot.
Mace Windu taking on Jango Fett was cool,
but there's too much.
Count Dooku versus Yoda was amazing.
Yes, but here's the problem.
Yeah,
1, 2, and 3 had way too much digital stuff, and that stuff doesn't age well. Like the animals that they were riding on in the arena, they were goofy.
They were
where you go to when I go to 4, 5, and 6. I felt like the Tauntaun was a real animal.
Yeah.
Like, I felt like the abominable snowman,
here's the problem, though.
You could tell it was a puppet.
Yeah,
right?
Here's the problem.
Still felt real.
George Lucas, though, we don't. Okay, if you look at it from a sheerly
Boba Fett felt real. Not Boba Fett, but Jabba the Hutt felt real in 4, 5, and 6 before they digitally animated it.
But here's the deal. If you look at what he did, though, in filmmaking, like blue and green screen weren't being used on the scale that he used them for those movies.
It doesn't matter.
And so what he did for filmmaking...
We're not excusing the sins of George Lucas.
I'm just saying. I'm not either. Good gravy, I'm not. Yeah. But I am saying, like...
Let's go to the 7, 8, 9. What's bad in the 7, 8, 9? Besides 8.
A lot.
There's a lot of good in 8.
Yeah.
But there's bad in it. Like,
Leia,
9's got a lot of bad, too.
Leia not immediately dying in the vacuum of space.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was terrible.
That was weird.
You
could have shown she had force powers in a non-weird
What was
way.
the best part of the second movie?
Let's go. I'm just trying to prove a point. 4, 5, and 6 have aged so much better than 1, 2, and 3.
Yes.
Although I love the stuff in 1, 2, and 3. Yes. I love the whole Star Wars.
Well, I love the concepts that they brought out in 1, 2, and 3.
It's like they're my children. You love all your children.
7,
but
8,
you don't
9,
always like what they do.
Here's the problem. 7, 8, 9 didn't do anything new for us.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything new for us, right?
Oh, yes, they did.
No, 7, 8, 9 didn't.
Dude, General Hux loved General Hux.
Yeah, General Hux was
General
great.
Hux was such a good casted
General
character.
Hux was just Grand Moff Gideon.
Yeah,
a young Grand Moff Gideon.
No, he's better.
Grand Moff Tarkin.
He's angry Moff Gideon.
Yeah.
I love how angry Hux was.
I did. Hux was a good character. Yeah.
But like, tell me the bad in 7, 8, 9. What's bad?
Poe. Poe's dialogue was tough. Finn.
I like Poe.
I didn't love Finn.
Rose
was terrible.
Here's the thing.
Rose was terrible.
I think they could have made the Rose
I wanted her to
so
get
much
stomped.
Better. I think they could have made. This isn't about the casting.
When he saved her, I was like, "Oh, please don't."
I love that they tried to bring these other characters in. She just was not a good character. Did not have a good storyline.
Just terrible.
They could have made that character.
And they did Luke dirty.
The casino.
They did Luke dirty.
The casino was dumb. There was a whole pointless.
It felt
thread.
like James Bond.
Yeah.
It felt like Casino Royale.
It
felt like a different movie.
Yeah.
It didn't feel like a Star Wars movie at that point.
Yeah.
It just didn't. It was like, okay, I know there's higher societies. I know that would happen in anything, but that doesn't feel. It just didn't feel like Star Wars.
Snoke is the worst thing in all of 7.
It could have been great though.
Snoke could have been the coolest
amazing
villain.
He could have been amazing,
and they could have got away from Palpatine. They could have just been Snoke. Could have been this amazing
somehow
villain.
Palpatine
and they ruined
like that. Whoever wrote that line should never have a job ever writing again.
Yeah, they killed that. They
Palpatine lived. Okay, you let that happen on a multi-million-dollar film.
Yeah, it was like somebody should have stopped that.
Sorry,
and I know. I mean, ultimately, yeah, it was bad. So there's no. I love what J.J. Abrams did, even though there are plot holes in 7.
Okay,
he couldn't save
bigger AT-ATs. Awesome.
Yeah,
those are cool.
No, there's some good things about it. I love like Crate.
Yes,
the planet Crate, and that whole sequence was great.
That was
Force
really
Ghost Luke is stupid. Angry, murderous Luke, stupid. Like those were bad choices.
Yeah.
And like for me as a Star Wars fan, like you ruined Luke.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of like the last
and all
Kingdom.
all the retconning that they did to try and explain all that. I mean, you had basically. We should just call 9. The final
8.
movie,
and
we should just call it Star Wars retcon.
I walked out of 8 and
done.
I was disappointed.
I liked it.
You walked out like, oh, it's so good.
I liked it. But then here's the problem. It's just like any Star Wars movie. The reason the original trilogy is so good is because people hated Empire Strikes Back until The Return of the Jedi came out. They hated it because Return of the Jedi made that whole saga perfect.
I was like 4.
Yeah. 4 was, 4.
No, I wasn't even born. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I think I was just born. Yeah. But I don't know. I wasn't there to know. But I'm just saying, like, we got a lot of Star Wars. I love Star Wars. I think about Star Wars like every day. So that's my other room is Star Wars.
Yeah, that's a better question. How often do you think of Tatooine? Are you really a man if you don't think it's about Tatooine at least once a day?
When I think about Star Wars, but
how can you not? It's the central storyline of the entire universe.
Okay, here's how. Okay, who's a bigger Star Wars fan, you or me?
You probably are a bigger Star Wars fan.
Definitely,
probably a bigger Star Wars fan.
I would say that. Since I went to,
I'm a bigger Lord of the Rings fan.
Lake Como in Italy.
Who's a bigger Lord of the Rings fan?
I love Lord of the Rings. I don't know. That's a toss up.
I'm a bigger Lord of the Rings fan than you. Yeah, I'm definitely a bigger Lord of the Rings fan than you. I'll give you Star Wars. I'm not giving you Lord of the Rings. How many of the Silmarillion have you read?
5.
I got you. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, that's a test of whether or not you're a real Lord of the Rings fan.
I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
I'll let you have that one.
Yeah.
It's close, though. Mm-hmm. It's close, though.
It is close. But we are, I think what you're trying to say is we're both super nerds. I'm a bigger Star Trek fan than you are.
I like Star Trek. I'm a
bigger Star Trek fan. Yeah.
You can only follow so many things.
Yeah, that's true.
So that's hard to follow.
I will say, though, we are definitely both nerds. Star Wars is the reigning champion of all sci-fi. I think we would agree on that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Right? Okay, but what is the best sci-fi movies ever?
Star Wars 1 through 9. Solo. I'm just gonna list off all the Star Wars movies.
Man.
No.
What about fantasy? Fantasy is Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings. Yeah.
If you pick my favorite fantasy movies, Lord of the Rings. My favorite.
Which one out of the 3 is your favorite? Movies, not books.
Because the emotional connection, 1.
Yeah.
The Fellowship of the Ring.
I'd agree.
Because there's so many good things. You have the introduction, the introduction of all the characters was great. The moment where they pick the ring and then Rodo chooses to be the ring bearer, really well emotionally done there. It's a very long scene. Awesome. The Mines of Moria, when the Balrog comes out, you're like, what is this? And then, Gandalf gives his life up. And then it ends. It ends with like sadness and death.
Yeah.
I think that has the best emotional connection. 2 starts good. I mean, they all have their bonuses, but I would think of all the movies I think about the least is 2. 2.
Really?
The middle, the slow middle.
Oh, I loved 2. I felt like 2.
You definitely like 3 the best, though.
Yeah. Oh, there's no question.
That's the one you talk about.
Return of the King is I think as far as the book is concerned and as far as the movies is concerned, has the most weight out of the entire thing. It's because it's the climax. It's a culmination of all the work of the first 2. And the first 2 don't matter without the Return of the King. That's the problem. Like the Return of the King is so important. I liked how in the movies they made it seem like Aragorn was the reluctant king. I did like that. I did like that creative twist because in the books, Aragorn already knows that he's the rightful king of Gondor. He's already prepared. Like they don't have to put the shards of Narsil. That's not a thing in the books. Like he already has the sword. He already knows he's the king. He already knows what his purpose is. He's just basically trying to navigate how he's going to make it happen. So I didn't love that in the. I at first I didn't love it. I actually love it now. The more I watch the movies, because it added such a depth and dimension to his character.
We did this with Star Wars. Tell me what was bad about those movies.
Nothing. There's not a minute of the extended versions of each of those movies that I would not watch over and over and over. And it is to
So
me.
tell me what's bad about The Hobbit.
To me. Oh, please don't make me do that. Because I like The Hobbit.
I do like
there was a lot wrong with
The Goblin King was
that
stupid.
should have been 2 movies. It shouldn't have been a trilogy.
No, they dragged
the
it
Battle of Five Armies was excellently done. I thought it was really well done. They took liberties adding characters and adding things that weren't in The Hobbit. One of the biggest misses in the entire franchise, and you will agree with me on this, one of the biggest misses in the entire movie franchise, Tom Bombadil.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
I know, but it was a big miss. It was a hugely important character that they just completely wrote out.
Yeah. No, I mean, I like The Hobbit,
Yeah.
but I haven't watched it that much because, like, the Goblin King, they made him grotesque and goofy. It's like what they did with Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
When they redid Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah. And honestly, the other part is, like, the stuff that they did in the first 3, you know, I mean, not the first, I mean, it's Lord of the Rings. So the things they did in the Fellowship, Two Towers, and Return of the King, their animations were so good, they still hold up today. That's what's amazing to me.
Yeah.
It's been 21 years since the first movie came out, and they still hold up today. That's
because they really didn't do a lot of animation.
No, but like
the goblins, the Uruk-hai were all.
They did a lot more than you think,
prosthetics.
though. They did a lot more than we think.
They did, but like that, they did background.
I mean, the Eagles were incredibly well done. All of the creatures. I mean, the elephants were all animated. I mean, to this day, the elephants still look real.
Yeah,
they really do. And like the only critique anybody has is of Smeagol and Gollum. But that was an entire character they had to completely build from the ground up. And honestly, it was excellent. It was so realistic. It was hard to not think of him as an actual, like, you didn't lose. There was never, it was always suspension of disbelief.
Right.
You always thought he was actually, real. So I don't think there's anything, I can't point to anything that I don't like about the trilogy, the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I think that everything.
Can I give you a
done.
Lord of the Rings spoiler?
Spoiler? Yeah.
It's also a Star Wars spoiler.
Okay.
For Ahsoka.
Okay.
Minas Tirith is in Star Wars.
What?
Yeah, it is. Minas Tirith is in Star Wars. You'll find out when you watch the show today.
Oh, okay. All right, deal.
Star Wars and Lord of the Rings are now the same universe.
No.
And it's epic.
No.
It
is it like G.I. Joe and Transformers?
Basically. You're going to call
that
me.
was actually, when you told me about
later,
that, I was like, oh my
you
gosh.
are so right. Now it is the same universe.
Oh, man.
Minas Tirith. It's like probably many years removed from Middle Earth, but Middle Earth is now in Star Wars.
Okay, can we talk about this real quick? Because this was actually on my docket. This is actually one of my... Okay, since we're talking about Lord of the Rings.
Mark. And the Sutherlings. The wild men.
I don't know what the Sutherlings
the men of the South.
Oh, really?
They're in it too. Mark, I'm disappointed.
Here is the question. Okay.
Nerdness or whatever.
Is that Lord of the Rings?
Do you think
Yeah.
this was my problem.
Have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Like once.
The wild men, the men that come to fight against the heroes that ride the elephants.
No idea. Oh, the elephant guys.
Yeah.
Oh.
They're in Star Wars.
How so?
They're in Ahsoka in the episode we just watched.
How are they part of it?
Because that was Middle Earth.
You're right, but what I don't know who they are resembling.
I'm making a video today.
Okay.
Yeah, making a video today.
Well, here's the deal.
Okay.
This is my last promise.
Get ready, we're making that, Mark.
Do you think the fantasy series that are coming out now are rightfully criticized as bad as they are? Like, do you think it's rightful that they're criticized?
I don't know. I think we're at
the
top of the game fantasy wise right now.
I do too. Here's my example. The Rings of Power. I liked the Rings of Power. I actually liked the show. I liked the acting.
I like Rings of Power.
I thought it was great. It got
very slow.
Much vitriol.
It's very
But here's
slow.
the problem. Like, this is the problem. We have to be entertained immediately or we're done.
Ahsoka's very slow too.
That goes to our attention span though. I don't mind. I want a show to draw things out and build
as long
the story.
as season 2 of Rings of Power brings action, then I think you'll forgive.
I think we're gonna have I
don't mind if Amazon's really gonna do 4 or 5 seasons guaranteed. I don't mind if it's slow.
Yeah, because
if they're gonna do like, nobody watched after season 1, we're gonna cut it. It's their own fault because it was too slow. I get they're doing the world building. I think it's beautiful. I think it's well done. Like, we're gonna have to judge that on what is to come, but. I think we're at the top of the game when it comes to fantasy filmmaking. Dungeons and Dragons was a great movie. It unfortunately did not do well at box office, so hopefully they'll make another one, but that was funny.
I think that they are going to build up the actual War of the Ring. I think they're going to build up the War of the Ring, and I think that's going to be the culmination of the actual show, is the War of the Ring, because it's set in a very similar time period. I think it's, from everything we know, I think if you haven't watched it, I don't care if I'm spoiling it for you. It's been months, so you could have borrowed somebody's Amazon Prime password.
Yeah.
So
we've been talking about fantasy for a long time.
Yeah.
Let's go back to something else.
Reality.
Let's go back because time sensitive stuff.
Yeah.
That I got for the show. The Commanders. The Commanders are 3-0.
Yeah.
With a quarterback nobody even knows his name. What's his name?
I don't know. Who is the Commanders?
Washington Commanders.
I don't know. Why can't I think of it?
It's like Sam Howell. Sam Howell.
Yeah.
I forgot it, but I just remembered it.
You
don't even know who Sam Howell is.
No.
But he's 3-0 and he's dominating.
I haven't really paid attention to the. The problem is I'm paying attention.
I don't really care about the NFL. I just saw the Commanders were 3-0. I saw a video on TikTok with Vince Young. Like, this guy's legit. We know how great this quarterback is. I'm like, I didn't know who that quarterback is. Where did Sam Howell play at? Was he at North Carolina? Search him real quick. Sam Howell, quarterback. Howell. Howell. So this guy, 3-0, dominating right now. Nobody expected the Commanders to be 3-0, yet they are. I think it's pretty impressive. I think we need to call that out in the show. Sam Howell. Where did he go to college?
North Carolina.
Yes, I was right. North Carolina. So isn't that great? I'm just saying, congrats, Sam Howell. Let's give the guy. I got to give the guy a clap. Yeah, the Browns not doing so hot, but the Commanders are, which is surprising because Commanders have been really bad.
He's put up some decent stats too.
Yeah, I think it was like 17 or 20 before they put in like the scrubs.
They're 2-0, not 3-0.
Well, it said 3-0 on my thing, but maybe they're 2-0. Whatever, they're doing great. So I think this is great. And then another thing let's go to their football thing.
Yeah,
Mel Tucker got fired or is getting fired from the University of Michigan, or I guess Michigan State University. What do you think about that, Cody? He's getting fired because he hired a lady.
I just
who comes
read this
in
headline today, so I'll be honest with you. I heard he was getting suspended. I heard that there's allegations.
Inappropriate phone communication with a lady who is
I don't know the details.
An abuse prevention, rape prevention counselor for the football team. He said he did really bad things on phone calls with her. And inappropriate things. The things that she's counseling players not to do. He's being accused of doing to her 2 years later. The problem is the school's like, we want this guy gone. There's this moral turpitude clause, which means you can't embarrass the university based on your moral behavior. He's saying it was all consensual. They're saying it's not. He's saying they're just trying to fire him because he needed to take family medical time. Like, he requested a FMLA leave before an undisclosed illness, and they don't want to give it to him, so just fire him. That seems kind of shady. It seems like to me, maybe he got wind of he's in trouble and then requested time off for the injury. I mean, that's kind of what people are saying. He requested this time off for his undisclosed illness because he knew things were coming against him. It doesn't really matter. I just think when people get too much money too quickly, they just do the dumbest things with it. Like, why?
Because
I mean, $60 million. Yeah. He's throwing $60 million away.
It's almost $75 million.
Yeah, it's crazy. But why?
Because I think because the problem is when you get to that level, like, nobody questions you anymore. Like, you don't have a group of people who are questioning what you're doing and how you're spending your time, right? Because the money buys you protection from those questions. Because you can't be questioned because you just go, okay, you're done. You're out of my life.
Right.
And the problem is when you have that kind of money, the people that are typically closest to you are the ones who are seeking to gain something from you. It's not necessarily people who are there for your benefit. And there's not a lot of people who can be there for your benefit from your perspective and from the perspective of other people. Because if I was in relationship with a guy, the first thing I'm going to do is like, what the heck are you doing? But I have nothing to I have nothing to offer other than who I am. And that's not the circles that those people
the
are
thing
in.
is, this is all on the phone conversations, text with this woman. So, it may not be. No one may have known. He may.
Yeah, but here's the deal. I'm as a pastor, as somebody who's spent time with people. There's always tells. There's always signs. Like when you're around people and things are going poorly and you love them, like you have an obligation to say, hey, what are you doing here? Like what's going on? And the problem is, I think what money and power do is they isolate you from those accountability conversations. Right. And honestly, we are all sinful. So like we all have this propensity to do things that are against what we should be doing. And so if we don't have the people in our lives and we isolate ourselves from the people in our lives who are going to ask us honest, hard questions with no fear of loss of relationship, then we're going to be at a place where we have no accountability, we have no structure. Like look at the government. Look at the people in the government.
Yeah, I would say.
Right? Like
same problem with politicians. No accountability.
Politicians aren't surrounding themselves with people who are actually going to call them out. They're surrounding themselves with people who are going to agree with them.
You can't keep politicians accountable. Like, no. For example, and we're not getting into the whole politics of it, but the House just requested documents from some other person in the executive branch. They just decided, no, I'm not going to. They gave them a deadline. They don't give it to them. They don't care because you really can't keep each house. One part of government, can't keep the other part really accountable. No. It's supposed to be, but they don't have any power to enforce it.
The checks and balances are a joke.
Because you have to sue them. It takes years. It's just. There are checks and balances were supposed to be there, but in all intent and purposes, people just don't listen. They don't care, and there's no real way to enforce it without like civil war. And so it's hard because like you can just say, no, I don't care about your subpoena. I'm just going to ignore it, and like it's just a long process. But I think that's the problem with when you get so high up, you don't have checks and balances. You got to be careful, and so we try to have hard conversations with others so we don't have these problems. But I think Mel Tucker should have had somebody having some hard conversations with him because it sounds like he's just blown his whole life up. It doesn't sound like he's going to be found innocent. Maybe he will, but it's caused a bunch of drama for his football team. And, and so as we look at this, I hope for better for Michigan State because we live in Michigan. But, I went to Michigan, so I hate to see a team suffer because of the failures of their leadership when it should be all decided on the field. So I wish the best for them. But really, when it comes down to it, Mel Tucker's in trouble, about to lose his job, and all I got was his T-shirt. Thanks for listening to our podcast. We'll catch you on the next episode.